An airstrike by NATO and ISAF forces across the border into Pakistani tribal areas led to the death of three Pakistani soldiers, which then led to a response by the Pakistanis to shut down the NATO supply route that runs through the Khyber Pass. This event is significant for two reasons. One, this is the first time that the Pakistanis have openly disrupted a NATO supply chain running through that country. And two, and more importantly, it comes at a time when the United States is trying to operationalize an effective strategy to exit from Afghanistan and needs to have a good cooperative relationship with Pakistan. It's unclear how long this shutdown will last, but what we do see is that the Pakistanis are having to respond to what they see as increasing NATO provocative action across the border. Mind you, that the Pakistanis have turned a blind eye at the United States drone strikes in Pakistan's tribal belt. Those strikes have seen a recent uptick as well. But when you have ISAF and NATO forces crossing the border, that takes the situation to an entirely different level, something that the Pakistanis can't tolerate, and especially if three of their soldiers get killed. So the Pakistanis can no longer afford to turn a blind eye, and therefore they have to respond. And the response this time has been quite significant. In the past, the cross-border incursions, they were treated as either friendly fire or mistakes, and business as usual continued. But today, the Pakistanis escalated it and said, this is too serious and we need to be able to respond. And the response is the shutting down of the NATO supply route. We suspect that the Pakistanis are trying to get the Americans to back off from this recent wave of incursions. So this is if you will, an incremental step on the part of the Pakistanis. Now we need to see how the American side reacts. It's no secret that the United States strategy for Afghanistan rests a lot upon Pakistani cooperation. Essentially, what we have is a contradiction. On one hand, the United States has come to a conclusion that it cannot possibly have a military solution for the Afghan Taliban insurgency in Afghanistan. For that, Pakistan's involvement is very necessary. But on the other hand, there is the threat from transnational jihadists, those affiliated with Al-Qaeda and those that are present largely on the Pakistani side of the border. For the United States, the question is, how do you seek Pakistani cooperation in Afghanistan and yet be able to conduct counterterrorism operations inside Pakistan against Al-Qaeda?